Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Season 5 of More Female Racers. This time, we are powered by Mercedes-AMG. What is More Female Racers, I hear you ask? Well, MFR is a championship series all about getting the best and brightest female racers into the world of sim racing. As I said, Season 5, we're back once again, and I know you guys have been so excited to see the return of this series. I am, of course, Dave Christie, and joining me in the commentary box is another new face, Sim Girl Racer herself. Sam Pearce joins us. Sam, good evening, welcome along, and this is going to be an awesome season.
This is going to be an epic season. Thank you very much for having me. Really looking forward to it. I've got some fond memories of More Female Racers Championship. I've only been sim racing for about a little over 2 years, and Season 3 was my very first ever competitive championship racing on sim racing. So I've got some fond memories of just getting stuck in, learning how it all works, and yeah, this was my gateway into sim racing, and it's great to see this series continuing.
What better qualifications can you have to come and join in the commentary box than that? It's great to see you. Although, to be honest, we might have to get you out on the grid as well and talking while you're doing the racing as well. But for Season 5, some big changes then. It's an all-new format. We've got shorter races, and that is designed to encourage more action on track, as well as the drivers are taking part solo. It's not a team event anymore, and that means that everybody gets in on the action during the two 30-minute races. We are here at Nurburgring tonight for round one, but where we go through the rest of the season is completely up to you at home watching. We'll tell you more about that through the course of the evening. But again, just looking at who's taking part out there tonight, Sam, it's like a who's who, of the newest, the brightest, the best, and the most experienced in female sim racing.
Definitely. I've been going through the entry list then this afternoon, and when we've got some very seasoned drivers in there. There's some drivers that have been competitors in every single season of MFR so far, and we've also got some brand new drivers. This is their first, certainly their first outing with More Female Racers, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go. But yeah, this is definitely the who's who of female sim racers in ACC.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, we say a very warm welcome back to a lot of the drivers who have been through us with all of the previous 4 seasons, the likes of Season 4 champions at Team Cake, GTWR R8G Female Racing, who took both the Pro and the Silver titles in Season 4, and Lunanera as well. Again, from your point of view then, Sam, what was the importance of a series like this, where it was open to females only?
I think it was a case of, certainly for me, it was getting me to not be afraid of, getting out there and competing. Certainly when I started racing, there were very few opportunities aside from just going on to, then the public lobbies where, you make a mistake and you get everybody, saying all kinds of, things in the chat, and then it can be a little intimidating when you're very first learning. You're also very conscious of the fact that you're going into a predominantly male sport, and it can be intimidating. So it's nice to have an event like this where you're all in the same boat. You're all getting used to sim racing, having lots of fun, getting a chance to be competitive against other cars, and just learning and developing, and I really enjoyed it.
Brilliant stuff for sure, and especially on a platform like Assetto Corsa Competizione. We're obviously moving into qualifying, a 30-minute qualifying session. Even more important now that it is not a team event, it is every single driver for themselves. Team tactics might come into play during the race. We've got 3 different classes then. You've got Pro, Silver and AM. You can see that on the left-hand side. Whites for pros, silvers in grey, as you can. It took me about 5 minutes to work that one out, and then AMs are in red. But obviously, it's a very fluid affair, and that will likely change through the course of the season, especially for some of the newer drivers who, the admins and the championship admins will have a limited amount of information about their performance and ability. They may decide that they are to be put up through silver or up into pro, depending on their ability. The idea being is we don't want somebody that's 5 seconds faster than the rest of the field when really they should maybe be up in one of the other classes. But realistically, even with the 3 different classes here, Sam, it is just going to be a very, very tight fight throughout the however many cars we've got on grid.
Yeah, I mean, and I really like the class system, and it means, especially coming in as a novice driver, inexperienced, this is your first ever championship, it still gives you an opportunity to actually compete with, and other drivers of a similar level, and that's the best way to learn is, get stuck in, get wheel to wheel with other cars. And with the class system worked out the way it is, it means that throughout the entire grid, regardless of your experience, you're going to have that opportunity to have some close wheel-to-wheel type racing.
It certainly does. We're watching Charlotte Robertson for Hatod Racing. Now, one of the great things, and one of the things that I know chat loves, is the complete inability with me being Scottish to pronounce any of the team names. So you will get a good giggle throughout the evening at that. But let's turn our attention, Sam, to the track itself here, Nurburgring. Obviously, the GP layout. What's your opinion on the track as it stands here for GT3 racing?
Nurburgring's always been one of my favorite tracks. It was the first track that I learned to race on, so I think it's really fitting that it's the first track of the season. I just love it. It's got a nice combination of technical corners, high speed straights. There's the ability to overtake. So it's a really, really great track. I love it.
Yeah, I can only agree with you. It's probably up there with one of my all-time favourite tracks. Not just because of the other track that we don't name in this sim that links off of this one. That's definitely my favourite. But this is a very close second. But it all starts at that Coca-Cola curve, doesn't it? That final corner. You have to get a good exit out of that to even remotely have a chance of having a good lap there. Also, just great to see some of the social comments coming in here through on YouTube. I saw Brando GT3 Racing saying that we need more racers that aren't dominated by their male counterparts. This is the road on the first step, and yeah, I absolutely agree. Good luck to all the ladies out there. This brings a smile to have the ladies racing tonight, and good luck to all the sim racer ladies out there, Brando GT3 Racing. So again, it's fantastic that we've got a platform here, Sam, where we promote not just the more experienced female drivers out here, but the brand new talent, the ones that are maybe just installed ACC for the first time in the past couple of months. This is maybe their first competitive series outside of maybe doing some low fuel motorsport season dailies, something like that. Coming on to the big stage like this can be daunting, but it gives them a great platform as well.
It does, yeah, and then the online SimGrid community in the Discord and everything like that is really, really supportive. It's always a great place to ask questions and just learn, and as you go for those drivers that are just getting their feet wet with sim racing. It's a great platform, really good way to start out, and it gave me all the confidence in the world to carry on and join other series, and it even had some opportunity to race against some big name drivers. So yeah, it's great to have this series back again.
I tell you what, it's great for the ego when you're able to take a famous name or two in terms of scalps and things like that. I've maybe not on ACC. I'm definitely not that fast on ACC, but on iRacing, when you're up against some like real life drivers, you're like, yep, I'll take that. It doesn't matter that they crashed and spun out on lap one. I'm taking it's a moral victory for me. Anyway, back to the qualifying session just now. So what we have then, just to explain as well, we've got 3 mini qualifying sessions going on. The first 10 minutes, it's the AM drivers who go out there and set times. Then after that 10 minutes is up, the silver drivers go out, and then it's the pro drivers that go out after that. So it's again with that, it's like this sort of cordoned off qualifying session for just the AMs. That gives them the ability to be comfortable going at their own pace without knowing that there's an alien in the pro class coming absolutely flying up that they have to move out the way for.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, trying to do qualifying in a mixed experience field, especially, when you start to get to know the caliber of drivers that are around you. You see a name coming up behind you, and it's like, oh no, this is going to ruin my lap because I don't want to ruin their lap, and it just concertinas. So having then the qualifying split out like this just makes it a little less stressful, but behind the wheel, and it means you can just concentrate on your own lap and doing the best that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Just noticing there, Cami Sturch jumps up into P1, half a second ahead of Elisabetta Andriani. Now, the thing with that is that I was about to say Cami Sturch was down at the bottom there, 7 seconds off the grid, and that was 100% sandbagging from Cami Sturch there. I know the pace that she has got. Incredibly talented designer and part of the sim racing community, does these amazing graphic designs as part of Go for the Gap, and very, very good in terms of branding and all that sort of stuff. And I know that she is enjoying sim racing, but again, just finding her feet. She doesn't do a lot of competitive stuff here in ACC. I think I've seen her a couple of times on R Factor 2 and other platforms. So it's great to see that these names still staying around the industry, still staying around about sim racing, but just deciding to try something a little bit new as Charlotte Robertson comes round the Coca-Cola curve to start another lap. And these drivers now going to have to get their skates on here. A good spread of times. You see Marilyn Edwards down in 12th position, still within 3 seconds of that top there. Now, regardless of any championship, that's a fairly common thing to see, is a spread of a couple of seconds over the likes of, say, 10 to 15 cars here. So some good pace going on with the AMs. And I wouldn't be too surprised here, Sam, to see some of the AM times starting to mingle in with some of the silver times as well. So with 20 and a half minutes left to go here in qualifying, 30 seconds left to go for the qualifying in the AMs just now. They'll be trying to make their way through the rest of the field as we see the 37 of Iredale up to pole position. And as we said, now with the final couple of seconds coming down, as Vintel's up to P4, you've got Sarah Fair, who we're currently watching here for Cupcake Racing. And for me, one of my favourite parts of More Female Racers is the incredible liveries that they have on these cars here. Team Cake never fail to disappoint. They put so much work, usually with the food theme and the little cupcakes or angel cake or whatever. But again, it's just nice to see these little touches going on to the cars, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of these people put in quite a lot of time and effort into liveries. I've tried my hand at designing some of my own liveries. It's not easy, and the way these cars are built in this game, the panels don't line up. You've got to figure out how to get everything to join up nicely. It's a nightmare. So I've got nothing but absolute respect for some of these amazing liveries that are out there on some of these cars tonight.
I absolutely feel you on that one, because my design skills are about akin to a 3-year-old with some Crayola. You've got these amazing ideas in your head, and you try and get them down in the car, and it just looks absolutely terrible. And you immediately switch off Photoshop. You're like, why did I even bother with that? And I feel absolutely terrible. Maren Edwards is on her final lap then, 3 seconds behind, but 2/10 up right now. So this could be up into P10 or P11, coming through that final chicane just now, just that final Coca-Cola curve to navigate. And I believe Maren, along with Athlon and Cammy Sturge, the final drivers out there. But what can Maren Edwards do across the line? Is there any improvement? It is. It's a huge improvement. 2.5 seconds off the pace, but that moves Maren Edwards, I believe, up into P11 there. So great improvement there. Cammy Sturge still into second place there, but yeah, that's a fairly decent outing there. And at the top of the table then, as you can see, a fantastic performance there. 2:06.715 for Azzy Iredale.
Yeah, been really great improvement. It's difficult to keep building lap on lap, but when you get into a rhythm, then the lapse times do start to come. So really great final lap there.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Live track vote on the moment at the moment on YouTube, if you can even say that properly, for the next track. For the round 2 on 7th November between Brands Hatch and Silverstone. So obviously you can get to decide where you want the next round to be. So yeah, that's an interesting choice. So Battle of Britain there, Brands Hatch, which I mean personally, we're not allowed to influence the vote in any way. Brands Hatch. But I just think that this early into the season, Brands Hatch would be an absolute melee. It would be amazing fun to see the cars there.
Yeah, Brands Hatch, really great track, really iconic British track, but it's your typical British circuit, really tight. Overtaking is difficult, so qualifying is of the utmost importance. If it's me, I'm gonna have to go the other way, and I think out of those two, I'd be voting Silverstone if it were me.
I can see why though. Like my sane, sensible head says do Silverstone, especially when you're this early in the season and you want to promote good, clean, fair racing. Silverstone's the perfect place for it because it's very wide, lots of it's very easy to telegraph cars that are wanting to make a move. There's very little chance for absolute chaos to ensue, whereas that could be a thing for Brands Hatch, but we'll certainly see. It's certainly Brands Hatch that's winning 75% at the moment. 77% is going up every time that I simply speak here, so I'll maybe just stop commenting on it. But anyway, let's run you down through the qualifying order so far then. Azzy Iredale takes pole position from Cammy Sturge in second place. Third place is going to be, and as soon as I always try to do that, it completely changes as the new cars head over. So I'm going to have to wait there. Yeah, there we go. Elizabeth Indriani takes third place for the AM drivers. Then it is Anne Wintels in fourth position. Fifth position, Sarah Fair. Lisa Louise in sixth. Then it is, I have to go all the way down the list here, Eris Aphelion that is in seventh position. Annalise Raya in eighth. Charlotte Robertson in ninth. Revi Curry in 10th. And I'll probably be easier actually just waiting until the session's over here, Sam, would I?
Yeah, but I'm just noticing in Iredale still up in P2. So as an AM driver, brilliant lap, and this just goes to prove just how good a lap that was from her. That she's still holding on to that P2 place, even though Silvers are out on track and putting in some good laps.
Yeah, that's right. As we said there, we've got 3 different classes that are taking part in this championship. The AMs have already been out. We've got silver class out for the next 4 minutes and 20, and then it is going to be our small bunch of pro drivers that are going to be out there. But again, just looking at the entry list here, and again, it is, like we said earlier, it's like a who's who, the names that are in here. Nori Rose out there, you've got Jenny Camugli who's out there, Martin Edwards, Lisa Louise, Esmeralda van der Nald, Alu Gobi. What are the names that you recognise from when you were racing?
Well, Denise Pope, I race with a lot in SSRI. I also competed against her in the women's championship. Alethea Book, Sarah Dove, Annalise Riot, I've raced with as well. Roberta Leska, some really, really great names out there. So it's great field.
It certainly is. Do you not miss it? Like when you're sitting here in the commentary box with myself and you're watching these cars out there, is there not that bit inside that's just like, yeah, quite
of course,
getting jumping in here?
Yeah, of course I do. I'm now that I've gotten into sim racing, I am a sim racer through and through. I love the competition. I love trying to improve and I'm competing against myself most of the time to see, can I get better? I'm still, relatively new at this, but yeah, absolutely love it. And sitting here, it's great to, because you get a nice bird's eye view of everything that's going on, and you get the passenger seat, strategist, thinking, oh, she should, you should do this. No, they should be doing that. But yeah, it's completely different when you're in the cockpit, and of course I miss it.
Yeah, when you get all the pressure on you. Let's have a look at what is happening then. We usually like to leave it for a couple of minutes. Ruby Acosta currently pole position for the Silvers just now. 205.85 just now. Mia Svensson in second place. April Carlsberg in third position. You've got Sofia Ronwin in fourth. Jenny Camugli down in fifth. Beta Bachenska in sixth position. But still, Azzy Iredale's time still enough for seventh place amongst all those silvers. So yeah, that is a storming time there from Azzy Iredale. Cami Sturch was second in AM, but that time gets pushed down all the way down to 14th on the grid so far. Still waiting for Denise Pope that you were talking about, and just watching Chiara Camariano, there we go. Again, this is the thing though as well, is you're looking between the timing screens and looking on the actual live screen as well, and as if it's not bad enough, the full name written right on the back of that bumper of the Mercedes-AMG GT4, so really no excuse whatsoever. 3.4 seconds at the moment, but that is very likely to be absolutely destroyed when Chiara comes across just now. It's surely going to put them up into 22 or 23, P21, close enough.
Yeah, and Denise is going to have to get a wriggle on here. I think this is going to be possibly her last flying lap. She might squeeze in another, but she's got to get a time on the board.
Yeah, we're just going to have a look then, because I think coming through the chicane, plenty of time. You've got 40 seconds left to go. You've got yellow flags though, so that might... No, that's fine, that's been cleared. So Denise Pope comes across the line, set the first timed lap. What is the lap going to be? 7th place, half a second off, so that's 2:06.2 for Denise Pope there. Here's Sophie Aronwin in the 714 GTWR Go setups machine, currently 0.4 of a second faster at the moment. And Sam, that would be enough for pole position as it stands, but it's all about keeping that pace through the rest of the lap.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to get that final corner right here, especially in these GT4s. They don't have anywhere near as much grip as the GT3s do, so getting the power down coming out of that final corner is it's hard work.
Yeah, certainly is hard work, and it's not one for me. I've never ever been able to take to these GT4 cars because really struggle with the extra sort of laziness of the steering of the GT4s compared to the GT3s, but really shows the level of skill and ability for these drivers here. Sophia Ronwin though still half a second up. However, there is going to be a little bit of traffic. I don't think that's going to cost too much time. Oh, Clark's curve on the right hand side, that might be a little bit too wide, but still looks like a valid lap through into the Coca-Cola curve. This is likely going to improve, but still about 3 tenths up, so this might be pole position or it might be third. Let's see. Oh, it's only good enough for fourth. So that's all been on that final couple of corners there, Sam.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Right, Maria Krutchkova, 14 Cake and Ronetta Racing, just currently 6 tenths of a second up. That would be enough to put them just on the cusp of the top 10. So this could possibly be a P10 qualifying for Maria Krutchkova, just coming up from the final corner there. And Paula Bradle, I was seeing Paula getting a lot of love in the YouTube chat there, comes across and finishes in 18th position, and it's going to be 17th for Maria Krutchkova. That's got to have been on the last corner there. So there we go. It's going to be Ruby Acosta in pole position for silvers, April Carl third, just 100th of a second in second position. Jenny Kamugli takes third position, Sophia Ronwin in fourth position. Fifth place goes to Mia Svensson, 6th place for Esmeralda van der Mald, 7th place for Denise Pope, 8th place for Josie Austin, 9th place for Beata Bachenska, and 10th place for Celine Witcher. We'll bring you the full rundown as soon as we can and as soon as that is done. But again, a very close qualifying for the silvers, and you've got now 15 cars within 1 second.
Yeah, and I was just noticing that, and it's, that isn't just silver cars in that top 15 as well. So just goes to prove just how tight the sharp end of this championship is going to be. But I'm really interested to see how our pro drivers fare, and how much of a gap then there's going to be with those pro drivers, and if there is in fact any gap between them and the rest of the field.
Well, since Nore Rose is in here, it's probably going to be about a 15-second gap. The ridiculous pace she's got. I mean, she is just incredible. But again, I think it's fantastic that we have drivers like that in this championship, because it's such a beacon for these maybe these new drivers that are coming in to think, this is what's possible, this is what I can do, and this is what I can achieve. Just ridiculous levels of pace, and the racecraft as well from Nore Rose. What I would say is that, we've seen from previous seasons as well, though, Sam, just being fast isn't enough to guarantee you wins. You have to be able to roll with the punches and deal with what this sim gives to you.
Yeah, consistency is something that is absolutely key in sim racing when it comes to championships like this. Is something that and I've learned along the way. I am not fast by any stretch of the imagination, but if I can be consistent, you pick up points week after week, and that can make all the difference between you beating a driver who is technically faster and a better driver than you. But if you're more consistent, the points will come and the places will come, and so will your confidence as well.
Sorry, I'm absolutely buckled over here. Azzy has just put in YouTube chat, Azzy Iredale, in capital letters, I don't know how I'm this high up, I'm new to GTs. Oh, I love it. I love the fact that, the drivers can come in and have fun about themselves as well. An amazing performance from Azzy Iredale, 17th position at the moment as the time's coming in. My good lord, Nore Rose straight in there. Ow. No messing about, just straight in 8 tenths, a second faster than the entire field then. Do you know, I'm happy that's probably the only time tonight I'm going to have something that I say as a commentator be proved right.
Yeah, I mean it's really, really good to get involved in a series like this that have these really established drivers, because something that I do a lot whenever I'm in a championship, watch replays of the faster drivers and learn from them. Just being in the same server with drivers like this, it can be a little disheartening that you're trying your best and somebody like an Nora comes in and within one lap they've just annihilated the entire field. But on the flip side of the coin, there's so much that you can learn from them, especially in a single mark championship like this. Everybody's in the same machinery, so you can really start to learn, okay, what gear are they in that corner, what line are they taking, and it can really, really help you progress as a driver being in servers with these really, really quick guys.
And now you see, unfortunately, I'm not mentally mature enough to take that on board. Usually, it's just straight onto the keyboard typing hacks in the in-game chat. But it is. It can be, both sides of the coin. Just as you said, Sam, it can be absolutely soul-crushing to think, oh yeah, I've done a brilliant lap here, and then somebody comes along and does like 3 seconds faster than you. But that is, that for me, that was the biggest thing. Was I've been doing sim racing for about 10 years now, and I'm not particularly fast, and I'm absolutely okay with that. And the moment I became okay with being the pace that I am, wait, what?
Oh,
wow, that is incredible. 204.25 from Honore Rose, but Alou Gobi as well, 0.2 of a second. My God, the pace is just absolutely skyrocketing up here.
Yeah, I mean, and Alushin, she had that first place for a split second, and then Honor just took it straight back. But I love watching the two of these compete, these two racers competing against each other. They're quite evenly matched. And it's great when you've got such a tight competition and up at the front. Makes for an edge of the seat to watch.
It absolutely does. I'm also looking at the midfield there, and I'm looking at the fact that we've got 11 cars within 1 second of each other still on the grid. And, regardless of the pros, regardless of the spread of pace around here, the amazing thing is, Sam, and I guess you were touching on this earlier, is the fact that you've always got somebody to race. You've always got someone around you, if not 2, 3, 4 people that you're going to be on pace with, and is going to be around about your skill level here in More Female Racers. So fantastic championship to take part in. Grip Hacks Engineering's Alou Gobi, though, coming through the tail end of the circuit then. This is 1/10 up at the moment. This is going to be on the run up through, and Van Bogen then coming up into the NGK chicane. 1 minute 50 left on the clock, so possibly another 2 tries at this here down into the Coca-Cola curve, down through the gears. That looks very, very cool and smooth and calm and everything that I wish I was behind the wheel of sim. But what can Alou Gobi do across the line? It's an improvement, not quite enough, but still absolutely massive improvement from Sarah Dove there, 0.2 of a second. But again, I mean, it's frustrating when the drivers go across the line. They're making these big impacts on their own time, but it doesn't make any improvement in their position as well. It kind of get masked by the where they are.
Yeah, and it can be quite off-putting that you think, I've improved 2-3 tenths. It's my best lap, and it doesn't show any change on the leaderboard, which it just proves that a lot of sim racing is mental, and it's not just skill. It's how you approach the mindset of the game, and not letting your emotions get too far away with you.
I would absolutely agree on that, and again, I think that time comes with time and practice, and that whole thing of patience. Just noticing there, Delilah Hazel just jumping up. You saw that on screen there, jumping up into 3rd position. Then 0.6 of a second off pole position. That's a stonking lap there from Delilah Hazel. Sarah Dove, we're currently on board with just now 0.7 of a second off of the pace here, Sam. And again, with this being the final run in qualifying here, I mean, this is it. This is the final roll of the dice here.
Yeah, and I saw one of the comments come up on in the YouTube chat that even if you don't do well in qualifying, it's not the be all and end all. And I'm the same way. Qualifying is not really my strongest suit. Putting in a be all and end all lap, a little bit too much pressure for me, but my race pace is usually a little bit better than my quali pace. So as long as you don't completely and utterly destroy your qualifying, there's always the race, and especially with the fact that we've got 2 races this evening, everybody's got 2 bites of the cherry.
Yeah, and Shogun in YouTube chat saying exactly what you're saying there, Sam. It's all very well being able to hot lap, but it's the race pace that matters, and racecraft is going to be so crucial. Alu Gobi improving yet again by another 0.2 of a second to take that car into the 204.45s, but it's still not enough to knock Inori Rose off the top field of this grid right now. So we are getting ready then for our first race of the brand new season 5 of More Female Racers, powered by Mercedes-AMG. And what a night in store we have for you. It's David Christie and Sam Pearce in the commentary booth here at the virtual recreation of Nurburgring in Germany. 2 30-minute races tonight we've got in store for you here with the GT4s. You've got the Pro Class, the Silver Class and the AM Class. But let's take you through the grid then. On row 1 then is Inori Rose alongside Lou Gobi. Row 2 is going to be Delilah Hazel alongside Sarah Dove. Victoria Thompson is going to line up on row 3 alongside Ruby Acosta. Then on row 4 is going to be April Karlsvard and Jenny Kamugli. It's Sophia Ronwin and Mia Svensson on row 5. Row 6 is Esmeralda van der Mald and Denise Pope from Wild Things Racing. Josie Austin is alongside Beata Bachenska. Celine Witcher is alongside Althea Book on row 8. Row 9 is Roberta Leska and Azzy Iredale. Row 10 is going to be Cosmo Marsh alongside Yvonne Huffelaar. Row 11, Cami Starch and Paula Bridie. Then it's row 12 for Eliza Indriani and Anne Wintels. Row 13 is Sarah Fair and Lisa Louise. Row 14 is Chiara Camariano, Erisa Felion alongside that. Row 15 is going to be Annalise Riots alongside Charlotte Robertson. Row 16, Revy Curry alongside Martin Edwards. Laura Valenza and Sarah Stant will start on row 17. And at the back of the grid, row 18, Rebecca Leite alongside Maria Krutchkova in 36th position. A lot of mixed up drivers there. You can see the pros predictably maybe at the top of the grid there, but quite a few of those AM drivers sneaking up into that silver class. So just here, I did wonder actually there, Sam, because we did hear that, or we did see that Maria did put in a reasonably good lap there and was somehow starting at the back of the grid. We heard that Maria has unfortunately reconnected, but having to start at the back of the grids. That is that's going to be a little bit frustrating. It's going to have all the AMs, but obviously qualifying 15th in that silver class, but now being at the essentially at the back of the grid there.
Yeah, it's disheartening when you have connection issues or any sort of tech or hardware failures completely and utterly beyond your control. She's just going to have to put it out of her mind and just concentrate on getting a good start, getting a clean start. Sometimes it can actually be a benefit to start at the back of the pack. You can kind of watch the start unfold in front of you and hopefully fingers crossed and avoid some of the carnage heading into turn 1.
Yeah, for sure. So what is the Sam Pearce, what's the Sim Girl Racer guide on getting a good start then?
Starts are never really my strong point, so not too sure you want to listen to the Sim Girl Racer guide to race starts, but it just being aware of what's around you. There's a lot going on. Things can kick off in a split second. It's always better to be more cautious than over enthusiastic. You don't win a race on lap 1, but you can certainly destroy your race on lap 1. So it's almost better to be just a little bit cautious, maybe even give up in a couple of places, and get them back through the race when you can just concentrate on 1 or 2 cars as opposed to having to concentrate on 5 or 6 cars that are around you at once.
Sorry, I was just writing all that down.
I wouldn't write it down. I don't think I've actually won a competitive race in my life yet, so not too sure how much credence I want to give to that.
Finish one, Sam. Goodness
But
me.
yeah, that's something that I've learned the hard way is, just take your time on lap one. Let the carnage, happen and pick up the pieces after.
I love Hoot Wheels subtly trying to point something out here. Brady's car looking like an updated Lister livery. Wonder who made that. Cough, cough. Yeah, that's a very, very subtle. That does look good though. That does look like the old Newcastle United branded Lister. So yeah, I do actually really like that.
Yeah, so sometimes simple liveries, when they're well executed, work really well. I mean, one of my favorite liveries is the Wild Things Racing. It's just so iconic. You recognize it instantly, that pink and purple. But it's really, really simple. It's really straightforward, but and a really, really great livery. But and as we were saying in the top of the show, I mean, some of these liveries, and Nora's livery, perfect example. It's just stunning. And being a graphic designer, I know how much painful amounts of work go into it, and yeah, just hats off to them.
Yeah, looks absolutely fantastic. A field of beautiful looking cars. 36 of them for the GT4s, getting ready to kick off More Female Racers Season 5 here at Indianapolis. It's going to be Honore Rose and Alu Gobi leading the field round. The GT4s are hungry. They are ready to go racing again. We're glad to have you live here on the SimGrid YouTube channel. Honore Rose takes the cars through. A lot of drive-through penalties showed up immediately. I've got no doubt that they'll all be cleared up. Possibly some drivers out of position. That might have been to do with Maria Krichkova having to go at the back of the grid there, but it's side by side down into turn one there, and then Honore Rose tries to go round the inside there, gets that position. We've got chaos already. We've got one car round that goes 2 cars round, and is that the Wild Things Racing car? No, it's not, but that's 3 cars round then. And to be fair, there's more chaos into turn 2 as well, and that's Victoria Thompson. And again, absolutely not listen to any of your advice whatsoever there, Sam, about being nice and calm and steady and patient and maybe letting off there. They've decided that it has to be won on the first lap here. Unfortunately, when you get all that, so many cars there, and that's Roberta Lesca for Race Simulation in the 99 Italian branded machine there, as we cut back to the race leaders then. Honore Rose with a little bit of a gap there, 0.2 of a second ahead of Alu Gobi. It's then Hazel in third position, and looking down the order here, Sarah Dove Sarah Dove in third position. I was getting confused because the timing towers was updated there. Josie Austin for Team Cake, and that's a little bit awkward there. Is that Jenny Kamukli just behind? That's Yvonne Hooflaar in the Team Brit branded machine just behind there as well, and there is Azzy Iredale. Well, I think it's safe to say, Sam, that's been a fantastic start for Azzy Iredale, and that looked like that was going to be a move on Beata Bachenska.
Yeah, I mean, really, really good start from the M driver, and yeah, I mean that turn one, you just can't go 4 wide into there. Somebody is gonna get spun round, and all it takes is just a little bit of a tap on the back end, and suddenly you're facing the wrong direction. So yeah, it's kind of predictable. That was always going to happen somewhere along that line, with so many of them going so quite a number wide into turn one.
Yeah, you got all those cars there, and it's very, very difficult for them to find a little bit of track that they can call their own. As we see Sophia Ronwin trying to do everything that they can do to keep Cosmo Marsh at bay, it's not going to happen. And the thing is that it was only turn 1 and turn 2. The rest of it has been fairly straightforward. A little bit of damage on the front of Sophia Ronwin's car, though. You can notice that little bumper is looking a little bit dishevelled there, as just behind Cosmo Marsh and Altea Book. You've got Wintels in there as well. As we go back to your leaders and look at the gap now that Honore Rose and Alu Gobi, they're starting to break away from the likes of Sarah Dove and Hazel in 4th position, Delilah Hazel and Ruby Acosta. So that is the pro battle just now with the silvers as well. I believe that is going to be Mia Svensson that is going to be up towards the front of that one. AMS is still Azzy Airdale up there in 13th place overall. And again, it's these 30-minute races, you have to, Sam, just sort of knuckle down and get yourself into a little bit of clear space and a little bit of a rhythm as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, with it being such a short race, you don't really have the luxury of being able to wait for the race to come to you. You've got to just get stuck in, pretty much straight away, because time's a ticking, and this race is gonna go quick.
I was trying to calm them down there. Just in case they were listening, I was just trying to say, look, you've got 25 minutes left to go here. But in all intents and purposes, no, that you're absolutely spot on there. It's a case of, you've got that balancing act, and I guess you've got more experience than I will in this, in terms of, racing. You've got to weigh up how hard do you push, and that, I guess, is something that will change on a lap by lap basis, based on your changes, based on your situations. We see April Carlsford here for Queen's Design on the back of the Wild Things Racing of Denise Pope. You've got Jenny Kamugli in the background there as well. You've got Josie Austin, Esmeralda van der Naal, Delon Hoefler. So this is a stacked silver grid that we've got right now. 25 and a half minutes left to go. April Carlsford having a look a little bit on the inside there. Oh, and that's deep from Denise Pope. That's an unforced error there, and she is going to be absolutely raging with herself for that one.
Yeah, and it's easy to go wide there as we just come on board with Celine Witcher turned round, and it's one of the painful things of having an incident at the early start of the race. You gotta watch the rest of the pack and going past, but she's done the right thing. She's seen the fact that there was lots of cars coming, had a safe rejoin. It's painful sitting there, waiting for all of these cars to pass, and you're just seeing position after position after position, and you're just tumbling down the order. But she did the right thing. She waited. Respectful driving. Love to see it.
I absolutely could not agree more with that one. We see it all the time. We've got the 1, 2, 3 off, and that is going to be was that a Ronwin that was involved? So that is a Ronwin and
Anne Wintels.
Yeah,
it's Anne Wintels as well.
Oh man, that is it looks like a little bit of damage to the side of that car as well there, so we'll have to watch and see how they go. The 99 as well, I'm noticing, of Roberto Lesca into pit lane, so that looks like that car either getting damage repaired or that is done and dusted. Just watching Josie Austin here, having a look up the inside then of Jenny Kamugli. This is for P9, and that looks like that position could be done, as Jenny Kamugli doesn't, I was going to say doesn't have an answer, into the chicane. Wild stuff, and Jenny Kamugli very gently, very politely escorted outside by Josie Austin there.
But well held. She did keep a hold of it, and managed to only just lose that one place. So yeah, when well controlled.
Replay of the turn 1 incident. So that was the 394 that was turned round then of Victoria Thompson, and well, look, that's always going to happen. You've got a sympathy spin going on the inside there. But the thing is like I said, I mean, I was expecting way worse, as we've got Celine Witcher falling away down the order as well. So I think she was caught up with that incident with Anne Wintels, and who else was involved in that? Sorry. So just having a look there. Delilah Hazel, though, keeping on going as we go back to a replay. This is Roberta Lesca earlier on, and again, now, again, I'd be less inclined to say that that was an unsafe rejoin, more just a car that was trying to, just power it round, and obviously unsighted.
Just wrong place, wrong time. It looked like she was holding the brakes, so yeah, it unfortunately happens.
It really does. Sorry, no, I was just about to say there, a beautiful move there by Delilah Hazel there, up on the inside there. That was fantastic move for position. So Delilah Hazel up into P4 there. That's Ruby Acosta, and Ruby Acosta was up into that P4 in the silver class car, but normal service has been resumed, and as we see the 4 pro class cars, and Victoria Thompson, that is not a place that you want to try and fight your way back in the pro class there, Sam, because because, you know, in amongst of all of those AM drivers, that's going to be a very, very difficult position. Oh, a little bit of contact, try to turn in there, and one of the cars comes straight back around, and that looks like maybe a little bit of damage there. Not too
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, and oh. Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, you know, sometimes if you get just, you know, the wrong type of damage on one of these cars, it's just so difficult to control. But at the same time, you don't want to, you know, just click that an RTG button and return to garage, because you end up with, you know, a time penalty as well as, you know, sitting there fixing the damage. So, you know, it's making that decision of, you know, can you nurse it back to the track without being too much of a liability to others, or, you know, lose the time. So it's a difficult decision, and sometimes it can just be really difficult to get that car back to the pit safely.
Here's a replay then of Denise Pope. I'm pretty sure she's not... Oh, no, it's not Denise Pope, is it? That was straight through. My goodness me, that was late onto the brakes there. That was Celine Witcher from earlier on there. So very late on the brakes. That looked more like a hardware failure to me than anything else. Just a confirmation of that penalty. You can see the time penalty applied there. That's the incident between cars 5, 3, 2 and 3. That's Jenny Kamugli and the 3 of Mia Svensson on lap 1. It's a 15-second time penalty to Jenny Kamugli for causing a collision there. So getting a penalty at this, you know, with these 30-minute races, that is going to be absolutely sort of game over now for these some of these cars, because they're so tightly packed here, Sam, that 15 seconds will literally cost you potentially 20 places.
Yeah, definitely. You know, when within the shorter races, any sort of penalty, you know, whether it's a drive-through or just a time penalty, is painful, and, you know, and almost doubly costly when everyone is still, you know, so tightly packed together.
It really is. And what I've got to say is, from experience from previous seasons of more female racers, the level of quality, the level of respect, the level of clean driving now is absolutely incredible. Oh, and Cami Sturge now getting a 15-second time penalty as well. We'll wait to see the confirmation from race control. There you go. So incidents between cars 48, 205, the 5 and the 18 on lap 1. That's a 15-second time penalty to car 5 for causing a collision. So Cami Sturge up there in P15 right now. That again is going to be a pretty devastating penalty to receive on that one. But again, so many cars involved in that, they will likely be taking that into account when they're giving out these penalties. So, you know, just giving you an idea who that all was then. The 18, of course, that was involved with that. I'm just trying to get an idea on who that actually was there. I think there might have been a typo on that, because I can't quite see who that was. But either way, that is essentially going to drop Cami off of the order. Yeah,
Maria's just had another disconnect.
That is absolutely devastating. I mean, you watch that happen. There's a little bit of me, the childish part of me wants to make a funny joke about it, but I know how seriously these ladies take this race, and you can't, because that is absolutely annoying.
It is, and it's really demoralizing, especially if you've put in, you know, hours and hours of practice during the week. You know, you've got your setups dialed in. You know, you've learned the track. You're, you know, positive and confident. And, you know, you've just got, it's just completely and totally beyond your control, and it's disheartening, and I really feel for her.
What I will say though is, I must go now. My people need me. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. And that's not specifically that car. It's just the way that ACC does these disconnects.
Yeah.
To the car for like 5 seconds, and it's this ridiculous thing. It should just like disappear them completely, because it's worse for our broadcast team, because 9 times out of 10 it's sod's law, Sam, that they'll be on board with the car, and then it just launches up into the air like
Yep.
one of the cars in F1 yesterday. Right, more time penalties. I had to sneak that little
Yeah.
Yvonne Hoefelaar getting a 15-second penalty in as well, and this is definitely turning into an Oprah moment right now, because you get a time penalty, you get a time penalty, you get a time penalty, 3 handed out so far, and from what I see, that's 2 in silver class and 1 in AM class right now.
Yeah, and and as we've said already, then these penalties, they are going to be painful. The grid is still quite tightly bunched in together. This is going to just absolutely tumble people down the order, and it's going to have a dramatic effect on the championship. Yes, this is the first race, but this is only what, five rounds in this championship, so not a lot of time to make up lost points.
That's exactly it, and with 2 rounds every time. And just seeing on the inside there, Sophia Ronwin, that's not quite where that car is supposed to be facing, and we were watching it in the picture-in-picture there, and I've got to be honest, I was too busy watching that fight for the lead right now, because yes, I see you, Alu Gobi, firstly dropping off 9/10 of a second, now suddenly right back onto the tail end of Honore Rose here, and we've seen this season in, season out from these two. They love the scrap.
Yeah, then these two are, so closely matched in terms of speed and skill. And yeah, I predict that this is going to be a battle that we are going to see time and again throughout the rest of this series.
I think so, yeah. Certainly from previous seasons that we've seen, these two have just been in a league of their own. I mean, we're what, 7 laps in? We're already 6.5 seconds ahead. What? That is just absolutely unreal. Right, I'll take a book onto the back of the 997 of Beata Bachenska there. You've got Affiliate up the inside. That is an optimistic move. In fact, no, that's Roberta Leska, excuse me. A lap down and taking absolutely no prisoners whatsoever. So Roberta Leska is down in what, P36, and just absolutely sent it from about 2 weeks ago into that final chicane there. Brilliant stuff there, although I can imagine the stewards at race control are maybe a little bit confused. And what's happened to Sophia Ronman? All the way down then, we saw going into the wall there, and now is that another issue then that's happened for Sophia Ronwin, because that's now down at P30. I worked it out that Sophia had rejoined in about P20, but is there big damage on that car? Because it looks like that car looking a little bit unstable.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those situations where you get a little bit of damage and it ends up creating almost a concertina effect, because the car is no longer handling the way you expect it to handle, and when one incident just leads into another and another and another, because you're getting to grips with the new dynamics of the car with the damage.
Let's take you through the podiums then so far for the different classes then. Pro class is going to be Honore Rose in the lead of Alu Gobi in second place. Third place for Sarah Dorf right now. Then in the silver class is Ruby Acosta ahead of Mia Svensson and April Karlsvard. And then for your AM class, it's Azzy Erdale ahead of Cami Sturch. And then down in that 20th position is Ares Filion. However, remember, Cami Sturch almost certainly going to drop out the top 3 from that 15-second penalty, and that will then mean that I believe it will be Annalise Riot that will take that position. Excuse me, Lisa Louise. I just went blind there for a second there. So Lisa Louise will take that step on the podium instead, as we've got a cracking little fight. Beata Bachenska, as there goes Roberta Leska again, clatter. Right, okay, well, we'll just blaze by that one. Normally, see, this is the thing, Sam, is that I'm well known for, but I take the role here of grumpy old man. Very disciplined. A little bit like John Watson in real life in the GT racing. Very condescending, very disapproving of every sort of bad thing. So we'll just glaze over that. We'll turn over in the season.
Yeah.
The less said about that incident, the better.
Yeah, I mean, Roberta Leska, she's, attempting to unlap herself, which is well within her right, but she's got to do it cleanly. And, causing contact while you're trying to unlap yourself, never going to be looked on overly favorably by the stewards. And we do have live stewarding in this race, so, it's going to be seen.
It really is, and there's no escape, is there? Because obviously, all that has to happen is for. But I guess the other thing is that realistically, Roberta's got absolutely nothing to lose right now, in terms of sending it. However, the penalties could then roll over into the next race, or there could be other things said afterwards. Let's have a look here as Charlotte Robertson. Potentially getting our first oopsie of the season award here as that's not really their fault, is it? That's just sort of a bump and straight into the gravel.
Yeah, it looked like potentially she might have missed her braking point. So yeah,
I believe that's what we term in the industry, Sam, as a boop. A boop on the tail end. So great to see that Azzy Ardale, though, doing such a great job in the lead of that AM Championship as well. But Celine Witcher on that recovery drive for Wild Things Racing. We see Rebecca Lights here for Lima Kilo Quarter Time Racing in the 61. And there's another penalty coming in, cars 18 and 56. That's Sarah Fair and Lisa Louise. It's a 10-second time penalty to car 18 for causing a collision. My goodness me. Sophia Ronwood getting a 5-second penalty there as well. I mean, this is just... Well, what an opening round to our more female racers. And we've got another 30 minutes to go after this, Sam.
I know. Yeah, we've got it all to do again. So it's great for us watching. It's proving to be exactly what we hoped. Competitive wheel-to-wheel action that gives us lots to look at, lots to talk about. But yeah, there's going to be some heated visors, and I think behind the wheel of some of those cars.
We'll wait and see. Unfortunately, again, being the very immature person I am, I always wish I could be in the voice chat, just listening, because I love listening to all that stuff kicking off. The live track vote is still going on. Where will we race in round 2 on 7th of November? The choices are between Brands Hatch and Silverstone. At the moment, I believe that it is still Brands Hatch that is still on top, but we'll have a look at that and see what that is now going to be. I think it's now evened out itself out to 60-40, but have a look at this though, Sam. Alou Gobi not only closing that gap down now, bringing Eleonore Rose right under pressure. Here's the replay then of what happened earlier on with the 714, and this is up the inside there, possibly going to try and make a move, and that is just a big bit of contact there with the number 48 car. That is going to be Paula Brady that gets, the 714 car afterwards that ended up getting that penalty. So that is Sophia Ronwin, and that is what led to us seeing Sophia Ronwin the wrong way around. So that was the, from what I remember there, that was the 66 that she got the penalty for as well. So yeah, more penalties are going to be incoming very quickly, but we've got yellow flags. Sophia Ronwin in the 714 is off again. That's the 99 at the final chicane. That's a very dangerous place for that car to be, and that's Roberta Leska again. Tell me that's not been the same incident or the carbon copy.
Yeah, we'll have to wait to see a replay, but yeah, Roberta Leska just in the war zone already, and I have no doubt that she's hoping this race to finish quickly. We've got just over 7.5 minutes left, and she's probably counting down every second in that car, I think.
Yeah, just waiting for this hell of a race to be over, and then you can hit the reset button. From your experience then, Sam, if you were in this position, if you were in, say, like a 2-race per night championship, and you had a bad result in race 1, how would you get yourself back into the game for, like, mentally for race 2?
It is difficult. You know, I mean, I certainly can't profess to being able to shake it off as you know, and easily as you know should. But it's all about just you know remembering that okay, it's a fresh start. It's a new race. Anything can happen. You know, bad as well as good. So you know, it's just try to clear your mind and think, okay, it's done, it's over. Let's try again.
Yeah, just essentially just dusting yourself down and trying to do that. But I'm like yourself, I struggle to kind of let it go, and it sort of sits there living rent free for way longer than it should. We'll keep an eye
Yeah.
on that battle for the lead though with Honore Rose and Luke Gobi. This is Sarah Fair there for Cupcake Racing. Alliteration not intended there, but just in front is Annalise Riot and Lisa Louise, and you know this is almost damage control right now for Sarah Fair with that 10-second penalty that she's going to have to endure at the end of this race. That's going to cause some big problems, although it's actually only going to drop Sarah Fair down at about maybe 2-3 positions as the field behind her starting to spread out very quickly indeed. We're watching the lead battle up on the inside there as Sarah Fair has a little look up the inside, gets a better drive out that final corner with Annalise Riot. They're going to be side by side under the BMW bridge here at the start of another lap, but it's a better drive out for Annalise Riot. It's going to be down into turn one. Now this looks like it's going to be a dive onto the brakes here for Sarah Fair, thinks better of it, and Annalise Riot holds on to that position, but might have just done enough there as Sarah Fair tries to take the outside line through 2 and 3 into the Mercedes arena. Race control giving us an update then. Incident between cars 21 and 99 on lap 2. No further action. Incident between cars 17 and 40. It's a 10-second penalty for the 40 for causing a collision. A penalty that we're kind of seeing repeated an awful lot, and that's Ruby Acosta, who was in the lead of the silvers there. So that is a 10-second penalty then for your silver leader.
That's going to have a big impact. You know, and this is going to the championship standings just you know changing minute on minute as we go through this race.
It certainly is, and I have absolutely no money on how this is all going to pan out then. I'm not even wanting to think. I'm going to need a slide rule and an abacus just to work out all these penalties right now, but we can still see Sarah Fair still side by side, late onto the brakes then through that long sweeping left-hander into the final chicane, and again not able to make that happen. And still trying to get past Annalise Riot is just in front. You can see Celine Witcher has a 15-second time penalty.
Annalise has just gone wide, so it's allowed Sarah to close that gap back up. And I've been in this exact same position with Annalise Riot in the female championship and in the women's championship, sorry, put on by Racing Point. Yeah, she's competitive. She's a difficult car to keep behind.
Absolutely is, but here comes Alu Gobi onto the back of Honore Rose then. More penalties then. Incident between cars 66 and 997 on lap 3. 15-second time penalty for the 66 for causing a collision this time. That is going to be Celine Witcher. So we saw Celine with that 15-second penalty. That is exactly what it is for, and Alu Gobi then still just stalking her prey right now. I think the two of these are very happy keeping the pace that they've got. They're absolutely light years ahead of everyone else on the field right now, but we've got 3 minutes left to go in this first race of season 5 of More Female Racers, powered by Mercedes-AMG, as we race in these amazing Mercedes-AMG GT4s. But it's Queen Design that is up in front and out in charge right now, as I'm trying to figure out what is going to happen to Ruby Acosta then. I think that's going to mean that the podium is going to be Svensson, Carlsberg and Pope then, because that is going to drop Mia Svensson down into P4 in class. Oh, and what's happened to Honore Rose? What happened
Oh,
there, Sam?
yeah, very, very rare mistake there from Honora. It looks like she just lost the back end, just slid out a bit wide, and with a Gobi, that's all the invitation that she needs. But look at this drag race down into then the S's.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there with the Lou Gobi and Nora Rose there. I honestly get the impression that these two are just mucking about. They're just enjoying having a little bit of a scrap right now. You can see Gobi weaving from one side to the other. And honestly, that's exactly what it is. They're wanting to have fun. They're wanting to have a battle. It could be a very lonely place when you're out on the track by yourself. And these two insanely talented female sim racers just showing exactly what can be done here. 1 minute 30 left to go. I think we're going to be on our penultimate lap of the race here, Sam.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the wire, and a very, very rare mistake from Minore. Gobi's she's been piling the pressure on lap after lap after lap, just waiting for Rose to just make the tiniest squeak of a mistake, and that's it. That's all the invitation that she needed. But I think this is going to go down to the wire.
Certainly could be. So Lou Gobi then in the leads ahead of Honora Rose, and Honora Rose just wanting to get that lead back, and you can tell how hard that car is being pushed. I wish I had admin rights on the YouTube chat channel, because we need to put we need to put Chuck Wagon on timeout for a little bit. That is a terrible pun there. I thought Nurburgring was in Germany, not Pennsylvania. That's terrible. That's one of my jokes that I would do. As Honora Rose has to look up the inside into turn one. Can't quite do it, but Lou Gobi having to get very, very defensive here and really put on the pressure.
She's gone wide. Oh no!
Lou Gobi into the wall, and that was contact by Honora Rose. That's almost certainly going to be looked
heavy. That was heavy contact.
Goodness. Wow. So Sam, your thoughts on that incident?
I'd like to see it from an outboard shot from that particular angle. It's difficult. I think Honora she pushed it just a little bit too much, but I would like to reserve judgment on that before I see it from another angle.
Oh my God, I'm so glad to have you in the commentary box, Sam, because it's nice to have somebody that's reserved here. Normally I just go steaming straight in, making accusations left, right and centre. There's a Twitter drama that gets caused by it, so it's so nice to have somebody. I'm going to take your example. I'm going to wait to see the replay.
There are two drivers involved in this. You got to see both angles before you weigh in. We've only seen one angle, so it's the right and proper thing to do. However, if I was in the car and I was Honora Rose, I wouldn't necessarily, or if I was a Lugo, but I wouldn't necessarily be quite as enigmatic about it.
So cuts across, gets a slower exit for sure. Do you know what? I'm a little bit. I've got a massively different opinion to when I saw it the first time. However, we'll cross that road when we come to it, because round the final corner then, Honora Rose, this is the final lap then. It's going to be a win in race one provisionally for Honora Rose for Queen's Design. Second is going to be a Lou Gobi coming through very, very shortly, as just ahead of Sarah Dove. A Lou Gobi crosses the line, a very frustrated Lou Gobi, I can imagine. Brilliant third place for Sarah Dove in the pros, with then it's going to be Delilah Hazel and Ruby Acosta to take the lead for that silver class, but that is going to be stripped away as those penalties come in. Mia Svensson in second place across the line, then April Carlsford in third position across the line, but Denise Pope will take fourth. Esmeralda van der Velde in fifth for the silver class. And Denise is, I think, going to get... In fact, Denise will definitely get promoted. Will G3, 6, 7? Yes, 8 seconds behind, so Denise Pope will get promoted to the podium. But here comes Azzy Iredale. What a performance. First place in AM, but 13th place overall, mixing it with the silvers. Cami Sturch comes across the line in second, again almost certainly going to be demoted out of that podium, I imagine, and then it's going to be Eris Aphelion in third position. But Sam, as the cars come across the line, that was an entertaining, I've got to say, opening round to More Female Racers Season 5.
Yeah, definitely. And, so it's something that, and I'm just, noting it at the minute is, and a lot of the drivers that, have been standout in this race, as Airedale, and Delilah Hazel. These are drivers that we've never seen in More Female Racers before. They're new to the championship and definitely bringing it from absolute day one. So really, really excited to see how the rest of the season is going to pan out.
Well, I'm really, really excited to see that fantastic result. You can see the full list of runners and riders through there, but again, Honore Rose taking the provisional race win there. Again, we wait to see what race control makes of that incident. Alou Gobi in second place and Sarah Dove in third for the pros. Silver class is Ruby Acosta, Mia Svensson and April Carlsvard, but again, that will be changed. And then AMS as well. A fantastic result there. And let's talk about that controversial incident then, because again, on board, your initial reaction is, oh my god, Alou Gobi's just been taken out. But watching it on that replay again, the thing that comes into my mind is that Alou Gobi was over on the left hand side and was trying to sweep that car over to the right hand side, which immediately gives me a little bit more sympathy towards Honore Rose. Thinking that maybe, can that be predictable? I mean, obviously that is the line. All of these pro cars will sweep over that right hand so they can get the inertia in, but yeah, it then goes from being able to go, oh my god, that's terrible, to like, oh, that's a really difficult incident to try and work out who's at fault there. Is anybody at fault there? Is it just a case of they should have been, pair of them, more aware, or is it just a racing incident?
And I don't know. I mean, and I definitely do not envy the stewards at this minute trying to decide how to judge that. There are two ways that you could look at it. She was on the grass. That's obviously going to scrub a lot of speed. So when you're moving back onto the racing line, you're not going to be as fast as the car behind you, even though that should have been, it was your place to begin with and you were pushed off. So I don't know. It is such a tough one to call. I'm looking at it, and again, I think I'm gonna have to side with an Honora. Gobi was where she was off track and came back across the racing line from off track. So I don't know. It's a real tough one. Really tough.
The thing is, Sam, you don't need to worry about it because we've got YouTube chat to decide it for us. The resident armchair experts in there. I've made that mistake many times of getting involved and getting heated and. Yeah. Well, yeah. Either way, look, regardless, I mean, that was one incident in what was an incredible opening round of More Female Racers Season 5 powered by Mercedes-AMG. And I think everyone that taken part, look, regardless if that is your first competitive outing or that's your season pro, welcome to the big time, I think, Sam. Yeah, they definitely, Len, as we predicted, lots of close battles throughout the entire grid. Penalties thrown in and as well, just to spice things up. This battle between Gobi and Rose in this coming race is, I'm predicting it's going to get heated. Do you think it's going to get spicy?
I do, yeah.
Right, okay, that's I've got to agree. I think it is. So Yeah, we'll wait to see that one. So we'll see what we can do in terms of if we can get any drivers in for a chat. We might wait until the end of race 2 and grab them in after that one, because they'll be straight back into the next session and getting out for that one. So what we're going to do then is just thinking about race 2 then on this one, Sam. What can the drivers take away from this first race? Do you think there's a lot of information that they can use towards that second race? From your experience, would you be taking like the conditions, how the car feels, or would you be like more tempted to get your elbows out in the second race?
And if it were me in the car, I think the main thing that I would be taking away from that first race is getting the measure of some of your other competitors. This is the first race of a new season. There are most likely, a lot of drivers that you're competing against that you've never competed against before. So, coming into race 1, it was a complete unknown quantity. You had no idea then the skill level or pace of other drivers around you. Now you've experienced 20 minutes on track with some of these other drivers. You kind of know a little bit more than you did going into race 1. So race 2, you're a little bit more aware of your pace compared to others. Even in practice servers, we know that a lot of drivers sandbag in practice servers. A lot of drivers use practice servers for other types of practice, working out strategies and working out setups, and the time in a practice server can be completely irrelevant. So this has been a lot of people's first experience of what people's true pace are. So if it were me, that's what I'd be taking away from that race 1 is, okay, I've now got a measure of what the competitiveness of the other drivers actually is. I can now go into race 2 with a little bit more knowledge of who's around me.
Yeah, for sure. So we're just waiting on the next race getting underway. Remember, 2 30-minute races that we are going to be taking part in tonight. Well, not us personally. We're going to be talking about it up here in the commentary booth. But again, more female racers powered by Mercedes-AMG. Season 5. I mean, again, I was loving all of the chat on social media. The hype and how important this is for the female sim racing community to have championships like this where they can really display their own abilities and their own talents. And the self-promotion done by these drivers and these teams that are involved, it's obviously a big deal.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think for very, very good reason. Then there are probably a lot of girls and women out there watching this thinking, yeah, I could do that. I mean, then I remember clearly watching season 2 of this on YouTube and on the SimGrid channel, and just thinking, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. And that was the final catalyst. My husband's been in sim racing for a good 8-9 years, and he's been on at me to give it a try. And then I saw these amazing women drivers just absolutely hooning it around and thinking, yeah, that just looks so much fun. I'm gonna give it a go. And there could very well be other girls and women out there watching this. So yeah, it's an amazing thing to think that you're going to have that sort of influence over another driver to try sim racing for the first time. And I think that's why I know a lot of these drivers are streaming their own races on Twitch and some on YouTube as well. And it all just helps to raise the profile that sim racing is not just for the boys. It can be for anybody and everybody, regardless of gender, experience, age, race, nothing. On track, it's all down to you and your skill and how much you can learn and adapt and pick up and develop as a driver.
And just on that note then, Sam, tell us a little bit more about your personal story then. How did it all get started for yourself? You mentioned your husband there, but was it on ACC or was it on another sim?
Yeah. So I've never raced in anything other than ACC. I love the format of the game. I love how realistic it is. But I also like the fact that it's still a very, very focused game, that there's just one thing to concentrate on and one thing to learn without getting overwhelmed. So somebody who's just getting into sim racing for the very first time, if you are a little unsure, I would say that ACC is a great starting platform, because it's one type of racing. It's one type of mainly one type of car, either GT3s or GT4s. So there's less for you to wrap your head around, and you can approach it one thing at a time, as opposed to some of the other games that are on the market, where you've got almost too much choice as to what you can be doing, what you can be racing in. And what type of racing you're going to be doing. So from that standpoint, ACC was just a perfect fit for me. I was fortunate enough that I could take hand-me-downs from my husband, from my first wheel and pedal setup. I've got his old computer, so it was fairly easy for me to get into it. But it's in. I just love it. I'm glad I did it, and now thinking, why didn't I do it sooner?
Well, you're here now, so that's the main thing, Sam. So we have to drill down even further. So it's our first round, so we're going to apologise for the interrogation here, but we need to know, like, what's your favourite car in the sim, and what you enjoy. What's the car that you really enjoy the most?
So I'm very much the type of person that I want to master something before I move on. So for a good season and a half, I only drove the McLaren. That was the car that I learned on. I sort of wanted to really, really wrap my head around that. When the M2 was the M4, sorry, where it was released just before Christmas, I thought, great, okay. Then let's try that out, and I've been driving absolutely nothing but that for the past other season and a half since I've been racing. So it's very much a case of find a car that works for you, and just concentrate on that. And as I said earlier, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with learning too many things and all at once. Pick one car and stick with it for a while. Learn how that car works, learn how you your driving style, and just take it one step at a time.
Yeah, and I can completely understand that from my own point of view. I started on the Bentley a few years ago when I got on ACC, and then, like yourself, I went to the BMW M4 because being someone that dips in and out very occasionally, I wanted a car that was kind of stable and kind of just easy to jump into, which the BMW is quite good for. But in real life, I'm a Merc fanboy. And we got the chance in real life to go and see the real life GT3 cars this year twice, and again, just seeing one of these AMG GT3s in real life flesh is like so big, and the nose is massive, and they are great machines, and that's it. And that's the wonderful thing, just going back to what you were saying about ACC, is the fact that each of these cars has a very, very obvious different style of driving and different traits that you can learn and things like that. So for the Merc, it can be a little bit tail happy depending on the setup. With the McLaren, it's small, it's nimble, it's fast, but it can be a little bit unpredictable, can be a little bit off the pace sometimes. The Porsche is a potluck of whether you're going to die or not. The Audi, we're just not even talking about the Audi.
No.
Again, it's just a wonderful, wonderful ability for these drivers, and these brand new drivers and these established drivers, to learn these cars, and they always change. It's always updating the BOP, always updating the handling model, and it's a fantastic way for drivers to be able to do it. Right. just looking at the time screens now, it looks like we are getting ready to head down onto the grid. The cars are certainly there and ready to get going. Now, what I'm hearing in our ears is we've got to say a massive shout out to Eliza Indriani, who is soldiering on, I think is the best way to put this, Sam, because from what we've just heard, dealing with food poisoning, so that's never a fun time.
No, I mean, absolute all due respect. Driving with food poisoning, she's probably had very little sleep. That's just amazing that she's here and competing, and just phenomenal. So hats off to her. Well done.
Confirmation then as we get the grid going by here. I'm not even going to attempt to try and catch up. However, what this does do is give us confirmation of the results of the last race then. Enora Rose takes the win from Lou Gobi and Sarah Dove. That's for Pro. For Silver, Mia Svensson, April Carlsvard and Denise Pope is 1, 2, 3. And then the AM is going to be Azzy Ardale, Cami Sturch and Philion in the third position there. Now, again, that is still provisional because obviously there can be post-race protests and all that sort of stuff. However, for our ease and our ability, Sam, we're just going to say that's what it is just now at this point in time. Right, okay, so the grid is massively mixed up. Thompson in 11th place there, Victoria Thompson. What a really difficult job she has got down there, because again, if she wants to get up and challenging for her class, she's got 6 silver cars that she's got to dispatch of. Yeah, and being right smack and then pretty much in the middle of the sharp end of the grid. It's a dangerous place to be. When we saw at the beginning of race 1, quite a few spins, a lot of cars getting squeezed out into that turn 1. So it's a precarious place to start. She's definitely going to have her work cut out for her. But yeah, be interesting to see, and hats off to Denise Pope. She had that spin really early on in race 1. Really great comeback drive for her to take the podium in her class. Now, it is the end of October, so I am legally allowed to make this joke, but do you think that Honor Rose is off the Christmas card list for after that first race?
I would say yes, but I've just got this feeling in my gut that it's going to come down on track between these two, and I really do.
I hope so. I hope it's resolved in like a proper ding dong fight rather than just
but clean.
Yeah. That's
we're advocating clean.
Yes.
But yeah, I think this is going to. I think Gobi's going to do her talking on the track.
Well, that's exactly it. And okay, just.
As you can see, it's and the kicking off already.
They're ghosted, so I don't believe it because it's when they come around the final corner they're unghosted. But I think there's definitely a lot of psychology, shall we say, going on right there. Either that or it's absolutely not the case, and they're on voice chat with each other and taking the absolute Michael, but I very much doubt that. It just feels like there's a lot of tension here. But again, when you're at that level with these drivers, and the thing is what we see with Honor Rose and Lou Gobi, we're going to see 5, 6, 7 times throughout the rest of the grid here as the old or their own rivalries develop. Now, I'm watching because where has Cami Sturch gone? Cami Sturch is not taking part in this second race. Cami Sturch has returned to garage.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit of a strange one. We'll get a full check on what has happened there, but yeah, that's a bit of a mystery for Cami Sturch.
Yeah. So it potentially is going to lead to people being out of position on the start. But Yeah, I mean, just seeing how close Gobi is keeping to the back of an Honora Rose there. I mean, she's backed off a little bit.
Just hearing though that it's a hardware failure. Her gear shifter has ended up getting stuck, so that means that had to jump back to pits, possibly just to remap the controls and possibly get back out, start from the pit lane, which would be better than nothing. But yeah, that's still a rough ride for Cami Sturch. Either way, the car's making their way round for the start of round 2, or race 2 rather, of round 1 here for more female racers. It's Honora Rose and Lou Gobi. And I think what I'm going to do this time here, Sam, I'm going to throw things over to you for the start. On you go.
Oh, gee, thank you so much, David. Right, so as we come round that final corner, coming on to then the start-finish straight, this is going to get spicy. So hang on to your seats, everyone. We are racing, and it is neck and neck between Rose and Gobi down into turn 1. Who is going to be the last of the late breakers? And a little bit of a spit, but Honora's kept it going, and she has managed to keep the lead. But wow. Just a mess of cars behind.
I think the silence for good effect is probably going to be the best way on that one. Goodness me.
Wow.
That was just a melee. The thing is, look, in that situation, what can you do? You've got 4 cars that are around. It's just a case of you have to go down.
Yeah.
One car slides on the grass and ends up just going straight in as a poor innocent cone has been murdered on the track. You can see it flying off in the background there. Right, let's check back in further up. Lisa Louise just up there in 3rd position in that AM class, just behind Affilian in AM class. And I'm going to say this right now, Sam. Azzy Erdale in 10th position in AM class, but in 10th position overall, in the middle of the silvers. That is just a ridiculous performance.
Yeah, and just being in the right place at the right time. I mean, having a carnage for first turn like that, it's going to mix up the grid. Everybody is going to suddenly find themselves all over the place. Then it is going to make this race even more interesting, because you've now got quicker cars behind AM cars out of position. Lots of people wanting to make up time that's lost. A little bit of red mist potentially starting to descend. Oh yeah, you just can't predict this now.
I feel so sad for Maria Krutchkova. She was here with race 2. She's disconnected again. So that is going to be out of the race. Meanwhile, here we go with Celine Witcher fired up the inside. And that is a move and a half there on the number 81 there of Chiara Camariano. And what a brilliant start. Also noticing that Lou Gobi now back up just 0.8 of a second off of Honora Rose, so we'll keep an eye on that one as all the cars filter their way through after that turn 1 chaos. I've got a feeling that race control are going to be very busy with that. What has happened to Azzy? Azzy has disappeared off the timing screens here, and all the way down, Azzy Erdale, that was in the 37, is she still in? She's way back in the field.
She is P24.
So that's been obviously some sort of an incident. Goodness me, so P6 in class there, Sam. Obviously some sort of contact, some sort of an issue for that car there. As we see 3 cars wide, you've got Josie Austin in there, Altea Book, you've got Affilion up in there as well. And again, just absolute madness.
Yeah, Lynn, little bit of a touch on the rear of Josie Austin's car there, but she's managed to keep it all in a straight line, and keep it all together. But yeah, really tight packs throughout. As Sarah Stat, that's a lot of damage on the front of that car. That looks like it's been quite a head-on collision with something, either a wall or potentially another car. But that's going to be difficult to handle now.
Seeing Paula Brady into the pit lane as well. We've got quite a few cars in there. The 15 the 48 and the 14 obviously disconnecting there. So, oh my goodness me, disconnects going on left, right and centre, and yeah, it's safe to say that this has been a race to forget. We've got the 604 Assetto Stant, as you saw there, just trying to make that car's way around the back of the grid there, but oh man, absolutely heartbreak. What this has been though is that Cami Sturch is already up 6 positions right now, so Cami Sturch making her way back up on that recovery drive up to P30. From what I can see right now, you can see just behind April Karlsvard, that is Denise Pope having a look on the inside of Mia Svensson on the run down to turn 1. Side by side, Svensson is trying to go around the inside there, and I think just going to hold on to that position there. So the number 3 car just ahead of the Wild Things Racing Machine, and keeps things going. Azzy Ardale then, as we said, is down to 19th in overall, but that now looks like back to 3rd in class. So again, another massive incident. Now that was 6th position, so what has happened there to Paula Brady and to Esmeralda van der Maal? So many incidents going on throughout the field here, Sam.
Yeah, and it honestly looks like gloves are off. I think potentially maybe some scores being settled from race 1, but it's all going to have a massive impact. These points still count, even though it's race 2. Points are just as important in this race as it was in the first race. So, these drivers need to potentially get a handle on emotions and start thinking a little bit long term of it's the first round of a season, but it's still a fairly short season. So points are important.
They really, really are. We're currently seeing Celine Witcher just ahead of Lisa Louise actually getting that position. That was the fight for 15th position now, as our race leaders coming into that final chicane. Yet again, this is going to be lap 2 that we're on just now. It's going to be on the start of lap 3. The gap between Honor Rose and Luke will be 7/10 of a second, and then it's pretty much the rest of the field, at least 3 seconds behind that as well. Noticing that Delilah Hazel still fighting Sarah Dove right now. Purple lap just gone in, 2:04.3 for Alu Gobi right now, is Mia Svensson still ahead of Denise Pope, and Denise falling, I think, into the clutches here of Ruby Acosta. Ruby's going to be late on the brakes out of turn 1 there. Denise Pope gets the inside line, but I think that is going to be done and dusted before they can even do anything. And I don't know if you can hear that in the background, Sam, but that's a bell ringing, because we're away to go back to the fight between Honor Rose and Alu Gobi. 0.5 of a second now. This is what happens. Rose always starts to sort of pull away in the first 2 laps, and then Gobi just settles into a nice, consistent rhythm. I think we're away to have more fireworks here.
Yeah, I mean, then those first couple of laps, trading fastest lap between the two of them. But yeah, and as predicted, this fight is going to continue. And as we've just seen the replay of what instigated that turn 1 incident, somebody just completely missing their braking point, taken to the grass, and just ploughing straight through the middle of the track.
Was that the Paula Brady, the Lister-inspired liveried car that was on the grass there? If so, I think Race Control are potentially going to be. Yeah, that's. I'm not even going to actually going in. There we go. Yeah, so drive-through penalty to Paula Brady. So that's exactly why she has languished all the way at the bottom. So huge thank you to Mike Yao for bringing that to our attention. It was up earlier on, but we completely missed it there. But Ruby Acosta still fighting here with Denise Pope, almost side by side. You've got Sarah Dove, who is fighting about with, I believe that's April Karlsvard as well, for P4. And then, of course, at the front of the field, you've got Eleanor Rose ahead of Alu Gobi. And that gap is just 0.2 of a second. The two of them coming down the start-finish straight towards turn 1. Oh, my goodness me, this is going to be absolutely chaos.
Yep, and then Acosta has gotten that position from Denise, but not 100% decided between these two. Then the position still really closely battled between these two. But for the minute, Acosta securely in that P7 position.
Certainly is. We're watching this battle with Sarah Dove onto the back of Delilah Hazel, just up in P3 just now here. So yeah, a fantastic little battle that we're seeing all the way through the field here. You've got the likes of Beata Bachenska and Zaltea Book. You've got Celine Witcher is onto the back of Veris Athlon in the battle for P14 as well. And Sam, again, just from your experience, it really makes the race pass by very quickly here when you've got cars that are around you that you can fight, because racing by yourself is a very lonely business.
Yeah, it gives you something to focus on, and it gives you something to aim for, and otherwise really all you're doing is hot lapping. And that's it's always good practice to the more laps you do, then the better you're going to get. But it's racecraft and being able to handle your car around other cars that I personally found very difficult to learn. And you need to be in these battles in order to learn it. You can learn all the theory you want, watch all the replays you want, but you've got to actually be toe to toe, wheel to wheel with other cars in order to get that experience, and it's the only way you're going to learn.
I've no idea what that noise that was that just came out of my
It
mouth
was a very girly squeak.
Thank you very much. Right. Sarah Dove, what it was, right, was you saw in the rear view mirror Delilah Hazel getting very caught up on the exit of that chicane there. And I'm also noticing Denise Pope has fallen away down the order there behind Victoria Thompson, and of course losing that position out earlier on to Mia Svensson there. So what has happened now to Erisa Filion and Lisa Louise? They're all dropping down the order quite quickly as well. I wonder if this maybe the silver drivers just starting to make their way through these AM drivers here, Sam.
Yeah, definitely. And seeing Thompson working her way up into P8 at the minute, of those 6 silver cars that we mentioned started in front of her, she's now only got 3 to dispatch before she gets on to the back of the pro pack.
Fascinating start to this race. It's been a very chaotic start to the second race of the evening here for more female racers. Season 5 powered by Mercedes-AMG here. Sarah Fair trying to get up to the inside there, and that is Chiara Camariano, and fantastic to see that. Azzy Airedale though getting a penalty there, who we just saw that on the screen there, so that's going to be a 5-second penalty. And just disappointing to see that penalty coming through for Azzy Isdale and the number 37, and that is for collision on lap 1 with the 87. That's Valenza that was the recipient of the contact there. Charlotte Robertson also getting a penalty in the number 11. 15-second time penalty for causing a collision with the 21, and that is Curry that is just up in P30 just now. Revy Curry on the receiving end of that one. So let's take you through the podiums for your classes right now then, and it's Anor Rose ahead of Lou Gobi and Sarah Dove. That's your 1, 2, 3 in the pros. April Carlsvard is currently at the top of the silvers with Ruby Acosta in second place, and I believe that is going to be Mia Svensson that is going to be in third place for that one. And then in the AMS it's Erisa Filion ahead of Azzy Airedale, but again Azzy will drop down to that third place as it stands with that 5-second penalty, and that will promote Lisa Louise up in the second. But again, 16 minutes left to go on the clock here, and you get the feeling now a lot of these drivers just kind of settling into a rhythm here. They know the pace that they've got, but you've got some of the faster drivers just ploughing their way through the field here.
Yeah, I get the feeling that this is kind of the calm before the storm. I think people are just kind of settling down, taking a little bit of a breath from, it was a very chaotic first couple of laps. And I anticipate that this is going to heat up as we
bit of a
see
three wide.
little bit of trading paint there, between Victoria Thompson and Acosta in the P40 car. So yeah, I expect this is going to start to heat up as we get towards the tail end of this race.
I think actually that is Mia Svensson who Victoria Thompson's just got ahead of, and it's safe to say that Mia is not best impressed right now, because weaving that car from left to right, absolutely fizzing after that. We'll say bold overtaking attempt here. This is the 604 and the 18 just going side by side. This is one of the battles that we saw earlier on there, into the side of the 714, and that is exactly how you can go from hero to zero in the space of about a second for Sarah Stant there. I think the 714 that we saw there coming through of Sophia Ronwin had absolutely nothing she could do on that.
Yeah, you just occasionally find yourself in situations like that where, you know, you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Incident kicks off in front of you, and you're just a passenger, just watching it all unfold in front of you and wrapping you up in it.
Now, Sam, have you got your popcorn? Are you sitting comfortably for this to unveil for a second time?
Yeah.
Alou Gobi's waiting though. I mean, that gap was much closer, but you get the feeling that it's just waiting for the time for Alou Gobi, for Grip Hacks Engineering, waiting for her right time to actually make this move stick.
Yeah, and you know, knowing, you know, having raced with Gobi before, obviously not in any chance of actually competing with her, but you know, being in servers with her before in season 3, yeah, she's just going to stay in Anora's mirrors, looming large, making a menace of herself, and just waiting for that right time to pounce. And you know, when she does pounce, she pounces with all the claws out.
So what's your initial thoughts then, the opening rounds of more female racers by Mercedes-AMG? Given that we've halfway through into the second race here, Sam, what's your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts is this is just going to be so much fun to watch. It's just, you know, and you know, there's just, no matter where you look on the grid, there is battles and rivalries that you can see, you know, starting to form. Nobody's, you know, pulling their punches. This is going to be good fun every single round. I am so looking forward to the rest of this season.
That makes two of us, my friend. That makes two of us, and I'm getting a little bit scared because Annalise Riot is looking like trying to cause some sort of civil unrest by herself right now, looking all over the back
her
end
name
of...
well earned.
Yeah, exactly. Eliza Indriani is just trying to get that. Azzy Airedale is up in front in the AM class right now, pulling the trigger, trying to get that 5-second gap, and if she can do that over Eris Affilian, we'll be able to do that. And who was that? Was that Celine Witcher in the Wild Things racing car, just pulling off? So that is down from P13, and that is going to be down through the order for Celine Witcher. So heartbreak there, but whoa, that was a little bit sketchy as we saw Cameraro having a bit of a moment coming through into turn 1 there. It's safe to say that I've been watching Chiara Camariano in race 1 and in race 2. Some very different lines. I think that's shared possibly by Roberta Leska as well here.
Yeah. Then they've definitely got some interesting racing lines for this track, possibly taking, you know, slightly different approach to this track than a lot of the other drivers. It's a great strategy, as you know, as long as you can keep the lap times down. Taking a different line than your competitors can throw them off, and you know, make them think, well, hang on a minute, but that's... am I in the wrong by doing this line, and are they? And you know, it just makes everyone around you kind of second guess. But the important thing is, you know, they're still keeping the lap times competitive, even though they are taking different lines, and it's an interesting approach.
Absolute incredible pace here from Azzy Iredale right now. 3.9 seconds. You're kidding me. There's no way that Azzy's going to try and go around the outside of that corner, and that's exactly what she's done. Poor Sophie Aronman has been absolutely mugged there around the outside. That should never have happened. Jenny Kamugli gets a position taken by Cami Sturch. Cami Sturch up into P22 after starting from pit lane. That is an incredible recovery drive.
Yeah, and currently P4 in class. You know, just fantastic. And it just goes to show that when you have these technical glitches, these gremlins, you think, oh, my race is over, what's the point? This is the point. Keep driving, keep going. A, you're going to learn from the laps that you're doing, but B, you've got no idea what's going to happen in the race, you know, what's going to happen to other drivers. So, you know, rage quitting, never an answer in my book. Keep going because you have no idea what's going to happen, and Cami is proving that, you know, better than I could ever enunciate it.
Yeah, it might not be an answer in your book, but it's certainly an answer in mine. So does, along with sort of throwing some of the physical keyboards and mice and things like that, that usually does help my racing ability. Swearing at it, I've also found works very well as well. Not so much for the performance on track, but certainly for my stress levels. April Carlsford then still just fighting in amongst this absolute melee of cars. You've got Ruby Acosta trying to get involved there. You've got Victoria Thompson just up the road as well, as Acosta has a little look up the inside. So this is going to be sister cars here for Queen's Design. So I would like to hope that they're not going to be trying anything silly on each other. You've got Mia Svensson trying to get involved here as well. Remember, this is for the Sim Classer Silver class right now. So again, top of this just now. Also noticing that gap coming down between Nori Rose and Lou Gobi as well. Here is Josie Austin though for Team Cake, Angel Cake, just onto the back of Yvonne. In fact, that's not Yvonne Huthler that's up in front of Josie Austin. So I think Josie might have just missed out a position here. Back with the battle for the lead then. Sam, if you're a Lou Gobi, what are you thinking right now? Is it time to pull the trigger, or do you leave it till the last 5 minutes?
Personally, I think it's a little bit too early. You know, wait just a little bit longer. I mean, she's definitely keeping control of that gap. I'd like to see that gap a little bit, you know, a little bit smaller, but I think it's too early to start, you know, really harassing. If you're going to pull the trigger, go for a do or die or an overtake. You want to make sure that there aren't the laps left for Rose to come back and take the position back from you. So if it were me in the cockpit, I'd hang fire just a little bit longer, but keep the pressure up, keep making a menace of yourself.
Yeah, that's a fair point actually, because that's what we saw in race 1 as well, and it was all down to the final sort of 5 minutes where Gobi decided to get involved here, and you can see just how much more pace that Lou has got for Grip Hacks Engineering through certain parts of the circuit. But that seems to be evened out by Honora Rose through other parts of the circuit as well here. So yeah, fascinating battle. I tell you what, I think Azzy Iredale might have just done it, might have beaten that 5 second gap 2 seconds in AM class. So Azzy Iredale, I believe, by my terrible mathematics, is leading the AM class even with that 5 second penalty.
Yeah. And, you know, it just goes to show again, she's brand new to the series. We've not seen her in MFR before. But yeah, just pulling out an amazing performance. And yeah, she's going to be one to watch.
Yeah, well, I've seen her on another platform, on iRacing, racing in the Rocket British F4 Esports Series. Insanely fast, so I'm presuming that means then that she's going to be racing under the Prismatic Motorsports outfit on there. So if that's the case, then yeah, I mean, because she's teamed up with Mira Schmidt on that, and they've been doing really well. And oh my good God almighty, April Carlsford sent into the barriers. I think that was Mia Svensson that was involved in that. Denise Pope that was involved in that as well. We'll have to get a look at that from on the replay, but I'm pretty sure that would have been the silver lead just gone in a heartbeat.
Oh, that looked painful, even for a digital sim. I mean, wow, that was a massive accident.
Also, just noticing that now means that Denise Pope is, I believe, up into second place in the championship. Wow, this is going just absolutely nuts. I've got no idea. What have they put in the water between?
I don't know. I don't know. But you know, it just reinforces what we were talking about at the top of the program. Consistency. You keep your nose clean. Just put in the laps, and positions come to you. You know, Denise, she, you know, 2 races now in a row where positions have, you know, almost been gifted to her.
Wow.
For incidents happening around her. Just goes to show, just keep racing and the positions will come. Massive inch.
Awful crash there, as we see the battle with the leaders just now. From what I saw on the replay there, and I don't know how you made that, Sam, but for me, that looked an awful lot like Denise Pope was a fairly innocent party in that one, because she was keeping her line. That car on left, that 69 car, was just absolutely, completely uninvolved in things. That didn't have anything to do with it, just an innocent victim in that. And well, I'm pretty sure Race Control are going to have a very, very fun time with it. So Mia Svensson lives to tell the tale, gets over it, but here comes Denise Pope right onto the tail end.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's a, you know, a good result for Denise. You know, and I love racing with Denise. She's just such a respectful driver. And look at that. That for me. Yeah, that car on the right hand side, that is Mia Svensson. That's what I see, and thankfully I have absolutely no say in what happened in the adjudication, because 9 times out of 10 I'm absolutely wrong, but from my opinion it did look like that car of Mia Svensson, very similar to what happened to Rose and Gobi. The car just drifted over to that left hand side. What a move from Alou! Contact sent off into the gravel. And you can see Gobi decides to wait for it there. Yeah.
Waited to go, but my God, Sam, what a send!
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what I've been expecting to happen, and as then the minutes click down in this race, nobody's going to be holding their punches now, and this is just going to be epic.
I wonder what it is about Gobi's car during these final 5 minutes that suddenly it wakes up and suddenly it goes into life here, because Honore Rose now 1/10 of a second, also possibly a tiny little bit of aero damage going on right now, but ding dong, let's go again. The number 10 then, Grip Packs Engineer, and come down into turn 1. It's going to be late onto the brakes for Honore Rose down into turn 1. Great line in from Alou. Gobi gets a great run out. Sam, I do not know which way this is going to go.
No, I am. There's no way that you can predict this, and I think this is going to be over in a nanosecond. Somebody does something, and it'll be all over in a heartbeat. But which way that goes, it can be absolutely anybody's guess. But it's interesting what you were saying about, you know, the car just coming to life towards the end of the race. I mean, obviously everybody's in the exact same machinery, but everybody is open to putting their own setups onto these cars, and you know, Gobi just seems to have set up her car in such a way that as then the weight of fuel comes down, the car just comes to her particular driving style, and it's interesting to see how then the different cars are reacting, even though they are identical machines.
Cosmo Marsh picture you can see up on the inside there. I believe that's Lisa Louise. It is for P20. Job done very straightforward looking little fight there. However, just up in front, Cami Sturch now is up into the top 20. Ridiculously good drive for Cami Sturch there in the P19. That's just onto the back end. Was that actually Erisifilian? I think that might now be Erisifilian that has just lost that position there, because that's not Lisa Louise. So that now might be second in class for Cami Sturch. We'll double check there, but we go back to this lead battle right now as Alu Gobi comes out. You've got lap traffic in the way. What way is it going to go? The car has to take to the grass there. Thinks I even getting involved in this one. And to be fair, yeah, I can absolutely understand that. Right. What an incredible stuff. Yeah, so Cami Sturch from the back of the grid there, Sam, into second place, but we have to keep an eye on this.
Phenomenal drive for Sturch. Absolutely phenomenal drive. Really, really great recovery, starting from the pit lane, coming into second in class. Yeah, great drive from her, but this... all eyes on P1, P2. With 19 seconds left, it's gonna happen. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen now.
Mia Svensson gets a drive-through penalty, confirming our initial suspicions. Race control agreeing that she pulled across, and that's a heavy penalty, and it's the last lap of the race, so she's not going to serve it, so it's going to be converted into a time penalty instead, and I can almost guarantee it's going to drop that car right to the back of the field. But however, we've only got a couple of corners left to go. We're coming down in towards the hairpin here. What is Alu Gobi going to do? It's late onto the brakes in, but still thinks better of it right now. This is a fascinating little battle we've got here for Nurburgring for the first round of More Female Racers Season 5, powered by Mercedes-AMG, through up the right-hander, through coming into the Vorsteiner curve very shortly. And this is a fascinating little battle there. Alu Gobi looks on the left-hand side here into the left-hander. Can't quite make it happen here, but keeps the throttle on there. It's all going to be up this run to Van Bogen, and then into that final chicane here, Sam. This is thrilling stuff. Let's see what happens.
I'm afraid to breathe. I really am. This is just so exciting to watch. Seeing competitors so evenly. Oh, and there's a touch. There's a touch. But again, Gobi being respectful, letting Rose Keane keep the position. And yeah, wow.
Brilliant stuff. So I know Rose comes across the line to win the second race. Alu Gobi in P2 for the pros. Sarah Dove though in P3 for pro. Then it's going to be Ruby Acosta taking the silver class win, with Denise Pope into second and April Carlsvard in third position. Maybe a little bit of justice, some might see that as Azzy Erdale. That is who we're going to be watching in a minute. What an incredible performance for the Prismatic Motorsport driver. Azzy Erdale, though, is going to come up through towards the final chicane then for This is a stunning performance in 16th position overall. First place in class. It's going to be a brilliant performance for Azzy Erdale. Round that final corner then. Race win for Prismatic Motorsport. Cami Sturch in second place. Erisifilion in third. What a night we have had here, Sam.
Yeah.
Firstly, have you enjoyed yourself?
Oh yeah. I am seeing, a few spots in front of my eyes for not breathing for that entire last lap. But yeah, just, phenomenal racing throughout the entire grid. Cami Sturch, that's got to be the drive of the night for me. Starting from the pit lane after a technical failure, coming in to not only finish P18 but second in class as well. That's just a phenomenal drive. Absolutely phenomenal drive. And yeah, Alu Gobi and Honora Rose, just goes to show what we've got in store for the rest of this season.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to see this start again, though. It was absolutely brutal going into that. But listen, this is all part of the learning process, isn't it? That whole thing you were mentioning about racecraft. because whenever you're racing, and we see real life races that do this right on turn one here, as you see Alou Gobi into Nora Rose on that first corner there, and you see that 532. This is like the Jaws music playing in the background there, and thankfully, it just mercifully it cuts off right at the moment of contact there, as the 532 just sent in like a torpedo, wipes out half the field there. But listen, a fantastic second race, fantastic evening that we've had of racing. We're just giving it a couple of minutes before we get some drivers in to have a chat with. But Sam, I mean, obviously 2 races now in the bag, and given that we have got another 8 races left to go in the championship, we'll have to get the results of that vote as well between Brands Hatch and Silverstone. Again, I'm just figuring out what that is going to do. But again, it makes it, what it means that it is so important for how it goes for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. This is, if you're just joining us on, YouTube, this is the first time you're watching with us. Strap in is all I can say. This is going to be an amazing season if what we've seen tonight is anything to go by. Just thrills and tight, clean racing all the way down the field.
Well, let's bring in some drivers to have a chat. Well, let's bring in Denise Pope then, who has been fighting her way all the way through from this double podiums tonight for Denise Pope in that silver class. So we'll bring in Denise. Denise, firstly, good evening. Welcome to the commentary booth. What do you think you're doing, stealing 2 little cheeky podiums there?
I know, it's madness, isn't it? I straight away, I completely didn't expect to at all. I didn't qualify particularly well. But like I was saying to my engineer, just the consistency was what helped, I think. I wasn't trying to race anyone, I was just trying to do my laps and be consistent. And this is NFR, right? There's always stuff that's going to happen. So it was just a case of being near the front and hoping something would happen a lot of the time.
Race 2, how many swear words came out of your mouth along that sort of finish straight?
I mean, there was at least one.
Was it just one long one?
It was quite a loud one. But no, I think there was just 1 or 2. It was. I mean, I was in 2 minds whether to go for the move, right? Because I knew it was a bit risky, but I didn't expect to be going 3 wide along that straight. I just didn't think it would happen. I didn't actually think I had the speed to get in between the 2 cars. And I did, and it was either like lift off and save myself or go for it, because why wouldn't you? So I just went for it, and I didn't expect what happened next, but I felt like I had every right to be there, and I felt like the car to my side kind of turned into me a little bit, and there was nothing I could do at that point. So it was an unfortunate incident, but I feel like it was just racing. It just happens sometimes.
Well, of course, Race Control decided that they agreed with you as well. Round 1 in the bag. I mean, final thoughts on that incredible 60 minutes?
I can't quite believe it. Like, I know a lot of people say that, but I just didn't expect it. I thought I'd be like midway through silver, maybe get like a top 10. I definitely didn't expect 2 podiums. But obviously I'm really happy with that. Hopefully we can do the same across the next few races.
Awesome stuff. Well, listen, Denise, thank you so much for your time tonight. Enjoy the fantastic performance, and we will hopefully speak to you next time.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
So there we go, Denise Pope then from Well Things Racing. I think obviously there's another person that I would very much like to hear from. I think you would like to hear from him as well, Sam. We're going to have to hear from the star of the day, Azzy Airedale. We'll bring Azzy in just now. Azzy, hello. That was a bit crazy today.
Definitely.
Talk us through that race, because the performance you put on today was just absolutely sensational.
Honestly, I can't really tell you where the pace came from today. I did some little setup changes just before the race one, and they seem to work a lot. I haven't really had a lot of track time. Yesterday I had like 30 minutes of practice, and I've not driven GT4s on here before, so it's just once I got in the zone, just the rhythm was perfect, and I made a few mistakes here and there, but just the pace was incredible. I don't know where it came from.
And obviously, like you said, how did you deal with that pressure? Because, you know, straight at the fire into the frying pan, it must have been an awful lot of stress.
Definitely. For the first like few laps of both races, I was doing a lot of mirror driving, I have to admit. But again, I just kind of said to myself, right, come on, let's actually focus here. And as soon as I did that, it was just every corner I was just fully zoned in, fully hooked in, and managed to just put it all together in the end.
And then obviously a fantastic start to the season. How do you think that shapes you up for the remainder of the races, or are you not even thinking about that right now?
Honestly, I'm gonna just go off of a race by race basis. I'm just honestly happy to be here, and to be doing this well off the get-go is a really good sign. I'm hoping I can continue it to race 2, well, round 2, for certain. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to see how it goes. It's gonna really be an interesting season. The field is so talented and so packed. It's just incredible to be racing everyone here. So we'll see if I can take it up to pros next time.
Listen, Azzy, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Welcome aboard to Season 5 of More Female Racers, and we can't wait to see you next time out.
Thank you for your time.
Take it easy. So there you go. What a fantastic chat there to Azzy Iredale in the AM class, winning tonight and having a pretty fantastic dominant performance there in that machine. We've got lots more drivers to have a chat to. Another one with a standout performance tonight, Cami Starch.
So I was having
down there. Cami, I'm going to jump in. I'm so sorry for ripping out your conversation. I'm going to be rude, but we have to figure out what WTF that last race.
I think it was a blessing in disguise starting from the pit lane.
How can you start from the pit lane and just get past like 15 other cars?
I've just been watching the stream back quickly. I think I was very lucky that there was a massive pile up at turn 1, so that allowed me to quickly catch some people. And yeah, it was just the hardest race of my life, and a lot of do or die overtakes, and just hoping that I could keep it clean.
I'm going to add an asterisk there and say for our viewers that Cami was nothing to do with that turn 1 melee. just kind of drove right past it. I mean, what were your thoughts as you kind of drove past all of them?
I'm not sure. I just kept thinking, just keep pushing and hope that some people. I was hoping that they would see my lap times were maybe 1-2 seconds quicker, and I was hoping people wouldn't fight me too much, but no, everyone fought me every inch of the way.
Well, you thoroughly earned that second place in the race there. Looking forward to the rest of the championship. We obviously have a vote going on tonight between Brands Hatch and Silverstone. Now, if it was up to you, what one would you pick?
I'd take my home circuit at Brands.
That's a fairly easy answer then. I was hoping for a longer answer there.
Sorry, it's very
nice and succinct.
Sorry, I live within half an hour of the circuit. I've been there ever since I was in my mum's tummy, even for Formula 1. So there, just before I was born. It's a massive part of my life. Love the people there. The gate people are on first name terms with me now. That's how often I've been.
Nice one. And just finally, with more female racers powered by Mercedes-AMG, for yourself, Cami, you know, what does this mean to you as a female sim racer? How important is it to have this sort of a platform?
Yeah, especially with like the legitimacy of SimGrid and SimHound and AMG. It's great that it can elevate us to a platform with the legitimacy where people will be interested to watch, and it's not just another series. It's, you know, this is serious. There's some of the best out there, and like people like Ainor Rose, like they're on another level. They're what we call aliens.
I'm sure there's a few other words as well for Honor with the pace that she's got in her car. But Cammy, listen, congratulations, brilliant performance tonight, brilliant showing for Go for the Gap. Enjoy your week, and hopefully we'll speak to you again very, very soon.
See you very, very soon, David. Thank you.
There you go then, Cammy Starch from Go for the Gap. We'll save the cream of the crop till last. We'll bring in April Carlsbard from that silver battle. April, a very good evening. Firstly, that incident in race 2, have you properly recovered from that?
Yeah, I'm happy I've recovered. I'm not hurt or anything. The benefit of doing it in sim racing is quite
mentally.
To be honest, going into this, I wasn't expecting podiums, so to come out with third anyway, despite that incident, I'm really happy with that. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm at peace with it all.
And obviously in Queen's Design as well, it's been a fantastic night for that team. How do you all move forward? Are you all looking to be, fighting for the title, or are you just kind of taking it race by race as well?
I think take it race by race. What we're doing seems to work quite well. We've got a few rough edges we can just file down in what we're doing, and yeah, just try and carry some momentum going forwards. Good spirits, good motivation. So I think we're all happy.
And obviously, out of the 2 races, they were very, very different affairs. One was a little bit chaotic to the start and kind of calmed down throughout the middle, but race 1 was pretty high octane all the way through. Which race did you prefer?
I suppose probably race 2. I really enjoyed the little back and forth scrap with Ruby as well. Even though we're teammates, I love getting to have a little fight like that and just, I guess, put on the show, I love doing that, and Ruby's a good friend, so yeah, really enjoyed doing that and sharing that experience with her.
Well, it was a fantastic day out of the races for yourself, April, and the rest of the Queen's Design team. Congratulations, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon.
Absolutely. See you soon. Thank you so much.
And finally, Honor Rose. We need to have a chat with our race winner from both races in the pro class. A very good evening to Honor Rose. Honor, domination, I think, is the word of tonight.
It wasn't easy though. Gobi was pretty close.
Because Alu Gobi was really, really giving it to you. Now, what we want to know as commentators is there like a little behind the scenes little feud between you two, or is it just
no, not really. No. Not that I know of, anyway.
Is it just a case of then that you two just enjoy having a good little scrap with each other then?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, when she called me, it was because of a mistake I made, and when I was putting away, it was because of one of her mistakes, and that was it essentially. I noticed, especially for the chicane before the last turn, we tend to have quite a bit of a different braking reference, so. I think that explains how we came together last lap at the second race, but I don't think it was malicious at any point.
Well, that's good to hear. We didn't think it was, but it's always nice to add a little bit more drama to things. But again, it's been no surprise, and people are very public in saying this to you, or the pace that you've got is just on another level. Alien is the term that gets bandied about quite a few occasions. For those that are coming into the sim and maybe want to sort of try and catch up to where you are, what tips, what advice would you give to fellow females out there?
Absolutely take good habits. Don't lap mindlessly. It's a terrible habit to get into. Get into the habit of getting the good line, getting good exits, rather than trying to stomp the brake 5 meters later than everybody else. Because at the end of the day, it never works. That's how you get worse. That's how you get bad habits. If you want pace, you have sometimes even some corners you have to compromise a bit. The first entry to go faster on the exit. I think that's the main thing most people don't get, is that you should maximize the straights as much as possible. Nobody needs any specific competence to be good on the straights. Whereas the corners, it's much easier to mess up. So work on maximizing the straights all the time.
Fantastic. That's I'm just writing all that down there. That's some quality little tips.
You're welcome.
I know. I feel like I've just got a coaching session for free there.
I usually make people pay for this stuff, you know?
Listen, Noor, I mean, obviously, 2 fantastic race wins tonight. It's been a brilliant race and a brilliant first round for Queen's Design. Thoughts towards the rest of the season then?
I didn't get that, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was saying, what's your thoughts towards the rest of the season? Do you feel quite comfortable with the pace that you've got, or do you think that there's some tracks that you're going to struggle with?
Well, actually, at this track, I struggled quite a bit. I struggled quite a bit at the Nurburgring, and especially with this car for some reason, with the Merc, whether GT4 or GT3, I've always struggled with this combo. I don't really get why. So I'm expecting I'll be faster at the other rounds. And towards the rest of the season, I just want to say how proud I am of Ruby and April because of the pace they had. They did not have the space when they registered 2 weeks ago. That they came leaps and bounds. I expect they'll do very well too.
Fantastic to hear, and as we said, yeah, Queen's Design having a brilliant night out and a fantastic performance for all the team. Well, listen, another, I don't think we expected any differently from yourself tonight, Inor. Congratulations on the double win, and we'll see you out next time for round 2.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.
So there we go then, Inor Rose rounding off our interviews tonight then, Sam, and a very, very humble driver, and quite happy to share some kind of best tips and best practices.
Yeah, I mean, then the tips that Honora shared there are they're priceless, and if you it can be a difficult lesson to learn without somebody of Honora's skill and expertise kind of pointing out to you. You know, whenever you watch racing on TV or anything like that, you always think, well, at every single part of a lap, you've got to be then the fastest. You've got to be first on the accelerator. You've got to be last on the brakes. You've got to carry as much speed as humanly possible. And and Honora just pointing out there that sometimes slow in is faster out. It's taken a long time for me to wrap my head around that concept. But yeah, it absolutely invaluable advice there. And yeah, just it's brilliant to see somebody of Honora's skill and expertise willingly sharing that, not just with her teammates, who it sounds like she's giving a lot of advice and support to, but to the rest of us as well.
Yeah, certainly is. So a fantastic night of the races here. A huge thank you to everyone that has been out there joining us on YouTube chat. Very happy to have your company tonight. A huge thank you to our broadcast production team of Mike Yao and Michael Hamlet, giving us all of the important information behind the scenes. A huge thank you to my brand new co-commentator for Season 5, Sam. Very welcome to have you on board. It's been an absolute pleasure, and look forward to seeing you out there on round 2.
Thank you very much, David. Been an absolute blast. Cannot wait.
So as that we said, that is round 1 done and dusted here for More Female Racers Season 5, powered by Mercedes-AMG. I've been David Christie here with you tonight alongside Sam Pearce in the commentary box. We will see you in 2 weeks' time, where we go to that track that is yet to be announced. Get voting between Brands Hatch and Silverstone. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you soon.